Good morning, everyone. I know I'm on a different time zone, so for some people this may be this afternoon. It's only 10 o'clock here, so I've been up and doing some stuff around the house, but we've got some plans today and I have to get ready, so I figured I would go ahead and hop on and get ready with you guys today. I'm still drinking coffee though. So I have already done my skincare, so I've already done all of that stuff. So I'm just gonna start with primer and just get on into it today. And I am probably going to talk a little bit about the products that I use today. If anything else comes up that you guys want to talk about, I'm cool to talk about other stuff as well. Good morning, Melanie. How are you? So today I am using the Tatcha Silk Canvas as my primer. I typically go between this one and the Milk Hydro Grip. It just kind of depends on how my skin is doing. Right now, my skin's been pretty good. It hasn't gotten too cold here where I'm at, so my skin hasn't started to do anything weird. You guys know that I'm from Florida, so I'm used to like humidity and stuff and like not dealing with cold weather. And then moving here to Utah, like the weather is totally different. The climate here is totally different. I've gotten very lucky in the fact that my skin did not freak out due to like the environmental change. So I'm super happy. I'm kind of paranoid about the winter. I have products like to help if I do get super dry. But I just hope that doesn't happen. I have normal skin, but it does lean a little dry sometimes. Hey, Pat, how are you? Yeah, it's still pretty early. I understand. I understand that. It's not like too early here, but it's not too late here either. It's at a good time, 10 o'clock. I probably still have my morning voice though, because I haven't been talking to anybody. My husband and I stayed up entirely too late last night, and he's still sleeping, so I haven't talked to anybody. So my voice hasn't had an opportunity to really liven up, so to speak. So this product is just the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. Hey, Jen. I've had this for a little while, and I just started to use it. And I know a lot of people use it underneath their foundation. I don't like to look super, super shiny, which is funny because, a lot of creators go for like that very vibrant, glowy look. I think it makes me look greasy, and it could very well be in the past when I've tried to look more radiant, it turns out to be greasy looking. I did that back when I didn't really know much about makeup or makeup products and was just doing whatever. Hey, Susie. Hey, Jen. How are you ladies? It's almost 12 where you're at, Pat. Yeah, I know. It seems to be like mountain time. People are either 2 hours ahead of me or 2 hours behind me. And I know there's a couple of places that are like an hour difference one way or the other. I feel like mountain time's really weird. So I try to, when I'm doing my lives or like scheduling my videos, I try to be mindful of when people are going to be awake or not. So I try my best. It is what it is. Today I am using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter. Okay, this is the matte, the soft matte foundation. This foundation and what's that other one? Estee Lauder Double Wear. Those are my favorite foundations. Oh my goodness, people either really like them or they don't. It's like one way or the other. There's no in between really with both of those foundations. I think it's because I have rather normal skin that it doesn't get cakey and it doesn't really break apart. I wear both of them to work pretty regularly. This shade, I don't know if it translates on camera or not, but this shade is a little bit yellow for me. It's not really bad, but it is a little bit more yellow than my actual skin tone. The Estee Lauder one matches my skin tone perfectly, but I have ran out of that foundation. I haven't gone to get any new makeup products, and I haven't been purchasing any. Just trying to use up what I have, because I have quite a bit, and I think one of the videos that I'm going to film here soon is going to be a makeup collection video. Hey, Lisa. So if anybody's interested in that, you'll see that, and you'll see I have way more product than I should. And if you watch any of my Get Ready With Me's, or I know most of the time I don't talk about the products, but you can't really, when you can see the products, you see I use like the same products all the time, and it's honestly really just a convenience factor for me, because they're the ones that I use regularly are on my vanity, so I just grab them rather than going through my drawers and looking for something different to use. Now that I have moved where I'm filming, and I'm not filming in my vanity anymore, I kind of have started to realize that it's made me go through my products more and like pick what I want to use. So I've used a little bit, like I've used stuff I have kind of forgotten I had recently, because of having to sift through, put it in a basket, and then bring it into where I'm filming, which I'm probably going, I don't think you guys will be able to tell the difference, but I'm probably going to move the room I'm in again to just make it easier, because currently I moved, this last time when I moved where I was filming, I'm sure you can tell from like my older videos and stuff, I was filming in my bedroom, which there wasn't anything really wrong with that, except for the fact that that bedroom has a ton of windows, and there was no way I could really help the echo in there. So I moved into a guest bedroom that we have, and we're going to be having a lot of family over the holidays. I have found out that we're going to be hosting some family. So our 2 spare rooms are going to be utilized, and I'm probably still going to film even when they're here. So I am going to move this filming setup into our office / hobby room that we have. So I will probably be doing that next weekend, and hopefully the sound gets better. I don't know if it will, because the ceilings are vaulted in that room. We'll see. The audio is still kind of echoey and bad. I'm in the process of getting sound deadening. What is that stuff called? Oh man, I don't know what it's called. The stuff to help so there's not so much of an echo. We all have more products than we need. Oh, 100%. When we moved, I went through a ton of my products. And then when I put everything into my vanity, I went through it again. So a huge declutter. Jen said, I went through a huge declutter to just see what I used a few years ago, and I found that I used like 3 eyeshadow, mascara, and eyeliner. Yeah, no, I mean, seriously, it's ridiculous. You guys can tell in most of my videos, I don't really wear eyeliner that often. I do wear it occasionally. That's one of the things of my routine that takes me longer to do, is my eyeliner. And I have collected so much eyeliner. A lot of it is because I used to have subscription boxes. I used to be subscribed to Ipsy, and I used to be subscribed. Was it just Ipsy that I was subscribed to? It might have just been Ipsy, but I used to have some makeup subscriptions, so I would get product from there. So I probably, when I film that I will probably end up doing a declutter at the same time. We'll see. And I haven't decided if I'm going to do that before I move my vanity, because the next time I move my filming setup, I am going to move my vanity just so I can have the products by me. So like when I'm talking about having an abundance of something or referring to a product, I can get it. Otherwise, I would show you how ridiculous my eyeliner collection is, even though I hardly ever wear eyeliner. Hi, how are you? I don't know how to say your username, but I see you. All right. So I did my base first today, and I'm looking, and I grabbed this Revolution palette by their collaboration with Soph, and I've only used this a couple of other times. I can't remember how the fallout is. So I'm probably going to put some powder under my eyes just in case it has fallout so I don't mess up my foundation. Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily have that problem with my eyelashes, but I'm fairly light-skinned as well, and I'm naturally blonde. I've just dyed my hair so much that it won't revert back. But like my arm hair, you can't see my arm hair because I'm also fairly light-skinned. So I understand that pain. I usually try, even on days, I don't wear makeup every single day. Like there's days I will not wear any makeup, even when I go to work. There's days I won't wear any makeup. And typically I will still try to, I hate loose powder. That will, I'll put at least mascara on typically, but not always. I'm just not the best at eyeliner. I've gotten bad at eyeliner over the years. I used to do it all the time in high school. And then I stopped doing it for a couple of years. And I can still manage to get a decent eyeliner on. It just takes me a minute. It takes pure concentration for me. That's like the only step of my routine that takes quite a bit of concentration, I feel like. You have a hard time finding palettes that'll work for you because of the coloring. Do you like, what kind of eye look do you like to wear? Or do you prefer to wear? Do you prefer to wear like neutral eyes? Do you want, like this palette is, Soph is pretty fair-skinned herself. Yeah, you can see my mess on my desktop. But this is a fairly light, like, yeah, there's some darker colors over here, but they're not super dark. And another palette that I got for like everyday wear for work was the Huda Nude Light palette, one of her small palettes. And I know you can still purchase that. I found this one at TJ Maxx. I had looked for it on the Revolution site. I had looked for it on Beauty Bay. I had looked for it on because she's not in the US. Where is she located at? I'm not 100% sure where she's located at. So, but she did this palette with them, and she used it for one of her videos, her makeup tutorials, and I was like, man, that looks really nice. And I had looked for it and I couldn't find it, and then I just happened to find it at TJ Maxx the other day because we are currently trying to revamp our guest bedrooms for the said family coming to visit. We're not going haywire, but we are trying to get like some newer furniture. So and it's 50-50. If you guys haven't seen my get ready, my actual like pre-filmed get ready with me, if you haven't seen that, it's 50-50 if I use concealer or an eyeshadow base. I just didn't grab an eyeshadow base this morning. I kind of just threw everything in a bag that was on top of my desk. And I don't leave my eyeshadow primer potion on my desk because it's small, or my vanity. Hey, it's just chat. How are you? Yeah, Jen, this palette is super light. And the last time I got ready on live and we talked, I believe I used this palette. I didn't talk about the products, but today I figured I would kind of do a mixture of both, talking about the products and whatever else you guys wanted to talk about. The push the last couple of years. Yeah, you know, I like colorful eye looks. I am just not talented enough to do them. I have tried. There's been a couple of videos where I've tried to, I don't know if you guys have been watching or know about Eyeshadow Island. I really like her makeup looks. She works at Ulta. She's super sweet. And I have tried to take inspiration from her and try to reach out of my comfort zone, and it just turns out to be a mess. I've tried to film it like as a video, and I mean, I'm not afraid to like put out a video where I look silly, but like you can clearly see that I'm not talented enough to even try to do that. And I always stick to the same eye shape when I do my eyeshadow. I always have the same eye shape in mind. I just work in my crease and then put a shimmer on the lid. I haven't ever been able to successfully do a cut crease or a halo eye. I have tried. Maybe I should do a video like that just to be funny. Enjoying your coffee? Yeah, I'm also drinking some coffee. I feel you on that. Yeah, everything's good. I appreciate you hopping in, chat. I really do. So I'm probably not going to, obviously this palette's not super crazy, so I'm not going to end up doing anything too out of the box. I probably am going to do something neutral. You're horrible with makeup. Man, I used to be too, though. Like, that's the thing. And I'm not trying to claim I'm great at makeup or anything like that. I think I can pull off a pretty decent eye look, but it's from, honestly, it's from watching YouTube. It's from watching some of the larger beauty gurus over time. Obviously, a lot of them have gotten themselves into some drama. I really learned how to do makeup from watching Raw Beauty Christy. I have similar skin type and skin tone to her, so I watch her. I've watched Nikki tutorials, Manny MUA, Laura Lee. The only like large beauty guru that I never got into was Jeffree Star. I really haven't ever been a fan of his. There was a time when I would watch his videos, but I really didn't get the hype with him. And I know his products are supposed to be pretty decent, but I've never purchased them. So today, because we're not doing anything too crazy here at my house, we're just going to be running a couple of errands today. I'm probably just going to do a super, super basic muted look today. While I do this, I can, if you guys want to talk about anything, you can drop it in the comments. If it's something I know anything about or want to talk about, I will talk about it. Hey, Sloan, thanks. I got a couple of different ones, and it pulls like blue. It's black. I don't know why it pulls blue, but I got this one and then a white one. They've all been in my videos at this point, but I went with this one to try and balance. I've added another light today, so I was trying to balance it out and see how it would be. I'm hoping it doesn't pull blue. Last time I used this black drop, it I went back and like during the live, I was saying, oh, it looks like my skin's turning blue or it's shading blue. And I went back and it did. I don't know why. And I'm not, I don't know how to edit to know if how to change like the saturation and stuff. So I just let it look like I'm blue. It's cool. I'll do step. It's like a different language on my face. Yeah, you know, it really did take me a long time to kind of learn. I was the kind of doing makeup when I was in high school. I literally just did like eyeliner and eyeshadow. Not eyeshadow, I mean eyeliner and mascara. I didn't really play with any eyeshadows. And then what brand was it? Was it Maybelline or L'Oreal? I can't remember. And I don't have any of them anymore. One of the brands, like L'Oreal, Maybelline, one of those came out with these little duos that were, I always got it at CVS, and it had a shimmer and a matte color. And I thought that having really shiny eyelids was like the bee's knees. So I bought like the stark silver and black. If you've ever worked with black eyeshadow, it is, hey Della, it is a mess if you mess up. And for some reason, I thought I was just the it thing by putting really metallic silver all over my lid and just like brushing a little bit of black, like packing the black on my outer corner and then a little bit in my crease. And I just thought that was the best thing ever. I don't think I have any. I probably actually do have some photos somewhere of that eye look, but they wouldn't be on this computer for me to find for you guys. So, I forgot about that. And then my mom got into, my mom's friend was selling Mary Kay. So my mom would purchase Mary Kay products from her. And I ended up with, hey Jazzy J, I ended up with, what was it? It was another little duo eyeshadow thing, and it was like cotton candy colors, like cotton candy pink and cotton candy blue. And I just put both of those colors on my lid. It would depend on what kind of day on if I wanted to put the pink in the inner part and the blue on the outer part or vice versa. I just utilized whatever I had and I didn't care if it looked good or not. I'm still kind of that way. Like I'm not going to, especially when I'm doing like a video where it's like a get ready with me and I'm actually talking about the products. I don't want to load a video where it's obvious that I'm struggling, because I know some people might want to watch it for learning or giving them tips on how to get a look like I get. So I don't want to like try and do something super silly, but I have like 3 palettes that have some kind of color in them, and most of them are like pinks and blues. There's a couple of purples in a couple of them. So I may do a video just to be funny and try something super crazy. Hey Jay, how are you? How's everybody who's coming in? I hope you're having a good Sunday. So the first color I used was just one very similar to my skin tone. You can hardly see it. Now I'm going just a little bit darker. And I know like beauty gurus say that like the makeup brush matters. I don't know if that's true. I'm sure to some extent it is, but literally almost every single eyeshadow brush, and they're dirty. Full disclaimer, I washed them a week ago, so I've been using them this week. I use just different kinds of fluffy brushes, different densities and all of that. And then I always have one flat packer brush, and this is for glitter. I either use my finger or I use that one. And I have a couple of other fluffy brushes that I've missed, but those are literally the only kind of brushes I use. I don't have, I mean, that is a lot, and I have more, but they're all like have the same shape to them and everything. So I don't, if you're getting into makeup and you want to do it, like don't feel like you have to get a whole bunch of makeup brushes or like their exact makeup brushes or their exact makeup. I know there's a lot of dupe videos and stuff like that out there, but what I like Natasha Denona shadows. It's very rare that I buy them because they are expensive. So there for a while, what I did was I bought the mini ones until I had enough money to buy some of her bigger palettes. I bought all the mini ones, which were like $25. And then Elf came out with little mini ones. And I bought a lot of the Elf ones because creators were saying that it was very similar in those dupe videos. And let me tell you, there's a couple of those Elf ones that I like way better than the Natasha Denona ones. I don't know if anybody would be interested in that kind of video, like a comparison video. There's so many beauty gurus and content creators who do the comparison stuff. I mean, my channel's always kind of had a little bit of beauty mixed in it, so I'm not like shying away from that, but I don't want to like make it seem like I'm trying to just become a beauty channel, because that's not the case. You haven't worn a lot of makeup, but you might get a fancy. You love teaching online. You know, I've kind of been curious how teachers are really adjusting to, who are like in areas where it's virtual only, who are adjusting to that. My mom was a teacher. She's retired. But like I couldn't imagine her working from home. And where I'm at, we're not working from home. COVID hasn't really amped back up here like it has in a lot of places. We've gotten very lucky and it's staying relatively like, I mean, it's here, but it's not, our numbers aren't skyrocketing. So they haven't put us back into like stay home orders or anything like that. Not to mention both myself and my husband are essential workers, so we work anyways. But we're all in school. Like everything's like pretty much normal here, except for obviously like the 6 feet apart, the masks and stuff like that. Other than that, like all of our businesses are open here. It's weird because I see everywhere else that it's not like that. And where I'm from, it's not like that at all. I talk to my parents occasionally and it's bad where I'm from right now. Let's see. They're dirty, but you don't have a boil on. Oh, are you trying to be shady, Jay? Yeah, I wash my brushes about once a week. I just use the same brushes so much that they literally are stained. It's okay. I don't mind. Yeah, I know that people were giving her a hard time for that. There for a minute, I thought it was coming back, to be honest, but it doesn't look like it. I briefly have been watching her recent lives to keep up with what the craziness she's doing with the Sophie story at this point. But I thought it was kind of reemerging, but I saw, and it didn't look like it was. Yeah, Jen, there for a second, it kind of looked like maybe it was. And I was going to say, well, maybe you didn't follow through with what you were supposed to if it's going to come back that quickly. But I think it maybe was just her lighting or something, because it didn't appear that it was still there the other day. So, yeah, Jazzy J, I was always intending on coming back. I've just, see, it just shifted to blue. I don't know why it does that. I have a lot going on in my personal life and I work a full-time job, and I'm not going to talk about the stuff going on in my personal life because it's sensitive information not pertaining to me, to a family member. So I've just got a lot going on, and you know, most of you guys know that. So I can't always get on live when stuff kind of goes haywire in my personal life. So I saw her post on Twitter, or somebody, I didn't see her post on Twitter because I have been doing stuff around the house and I haven't really tried to see what's going on in the Twitter world. But I saw somebody had screenshotted and was retweeting her stuff and was saying how, you know, she was adding at Team YouTube because of limited ads on her lives. I didn't see anything about a monetization review, but is that what's happening? Did she say that? Or is that what everybody is kind of speculating is going on because of her limited mode ads? I mean, karma is going to come out to get anybody. At the end of the day, if you've done anything shady or you've done anyone wrong or dirty, like, it is going to come back. It's going to come back around eventually. Will it maybe take some time for the truth to come out and stuff like that? Yeah, but eventually it is going to happen. So I don't understand why she's trying, if it is that, why she's trying to say like otherwise, just like how she's handling the Sophie situation. And she was accusing that Annie had doubled down, and then Annie was able to provide everyone some context and some information, and it kind of shows that Katie's the one who's doubling down. And Katie was saying, when she thought she was right about everything, Katie was saying, oh, I'm sure, you know, these other creators who have been so vocal on the dad side aren't going to step up and say they did wrong. It kind of right now is looking the other way around, which from the get-go, you guys all know I've been very neutral. I've made clear kind of which, from my previous profession, what side I am more inclined to be on. But I have always kind of talked about it from both angles, provided some of my previous work experience to explain why it could go both ways, and left it at that. So for anyone trying to say that I pushed a narrative or something involving this story is not being truthful. You prefer online teaching. See, and I appreciate you telling me that, because I was genuinely interested. Obviously, my mom is still friends with people who are still teaching, and I could easily ask them. It just kind of seems weird to like be like, hey, so you're one of my mom's friends. How's teaching virtually going? I think that would just be a weird conversation. So I could see that. I could see where it could also, for some, maybe lean the opposite way. Excuse me, the coffee's making me hiccup. She's been going up 1,000 subs every other day. Her video views stayed the same. She's also deleted all the... Yeah, I never talked about what was going her and her grieving friend. That was really off-putting. And I think everybody felt that way. I even think a lot of her diehard fans were kind of taken aback and confused by her like bringing that up online. She contradicted herself about that whole thing, which is really what kind of confused me, because I kind of saw that stuff going on, and I was like, I was initially on like being given the information from her that it was, she found out before. Like what I had seen when I was watching all of that live was that she was saying she had just found out about it. So I don't understand if that was the scenario. Why did you go live? Like if you were struggling, the video could have waited. I appreciate that, Jay. I try to be. Why does she dirty? Yeah, she does dirty delete, Della. She deletes almost everything. It was weird. What I found weird, and I think I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and this might be old news, and that's fine, was the fact that, you know, not only did she publicize it, but she was kind of telling her following and everything what she was doing for the family. And it all seemed very monetary and was kind of like surface level assistance. I understand she said that, you know, she offered to go out there, but they refused her to go, which I'm not going to say didn't happen. But that doesn't mean you need to tell your audience all of the like all the stuff you did for her monetarily, all the things you bought for her. Like that's kind of weird and almost gloating to a degree is kind of how I took it. And I've seen a lot of people kind of reflect that in what they have been saying. Hey, Britt, how are you? It was weird. I've never known anybody to do that. Hey, Mila, I've known of like creators who are losing somebody or have lost somebody or are going through something very serious as far as like illness or something. And they, you know, say, please give your thoughts to this person. And if they have a GoFundMe, they have, you know, mentioned it, but they're not like dragging it out like, oh, I did this and oh, I bought this and oh, you know, that's just weird. I've never seen that before. It's really weird. She tweeted that she can't come to the funeral and they wanted to distance themselves from her after she bought her kid prank toy. I knew she bought the kid prank toys, but was it ever conclusive that it was for the funeral? That would be weird. Like that's really not, that's really weird. She deleted. So yeah, I don't know. And you know, I've talked about this before as far as like monetization goes. I kind of fall on the opposite side. Britt and I have talked about this on one of her lives before. I kind of fall on the opposite side of the tracks as far as monetizing stuff. I know it's not a popular opinion. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I kind of am in the mindset that if you've put in the work and the effort, which I know there's questions with Katie on if she does that, aside from her, I'm talking about in general. Like if you put in the work for something, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing for you to get back what you put into it. I totally can understand the argument the other way around. And I am going to say I am probably biased in that, and the fact that I have covered the Sophie stuff. However, the way I have covered it hasn't, in my personal opinion, you guys can let me know otherwise, is, you know, I've covered it from a previous work experience, trying to shed some light on it being either way. And yeah, I have provided my opinion in that, in talking about that, but I haven't like been pushing or trying to push a certain light or thought process, if that makes sense. And I understand that some people have, and to each their own. It's their YouTube channels. You can do what you want. If you're wrong and you're pushing wrong information, at the end of the day, it's going to come out. It may take a while for the truth to be revealed, but it will be eventually. And, you know, for the people who like are upset with whichever side the creator is covering, if it turns out that the creator they decided to support initially and maybe badmouthed or bashed the other creator, they're eventually going to feel bad that they did all of that when the truth is revealed. That is why I have stayed in the middle, because I've done this work before. I know and I have experienced both sides of what is going on with this case. And that's kind of how I have tried to come at it. Of course, I've discussed everybody covering it and, you know, who I agree with and how they have been covering it. But those are just my opinions. Yeah, everything with Katie can be a rabbit hole for sure. Yeah, Jazzy, I'm fine. I appreciate everybody who's asking, but I am fine. I said earlier, a lot of why I didn't come on was because of some other stuff I have going on in my personal life. So Jen says she wouldn't mess with Janelle, that she's been around, knows how to play the game. I mean, Janelle's been on national TV. Of course she knows how to play the game. I don't know why Katie had kind of gone after her the way that she has. I never watched Katie for her Teen Mom stuff or her Duggar stuff or any of that. I've never watched any of that content because it really doesn't interest me. I started watching Katie for the Micah Stauffer stuff. And which a lot of people are in my boat. I get that. So I don't know like how she used to cover Janelle. It just seems weird. It seems weird on how like I know she's had issues with other teen moms and stuff like that, but it just seems weird that she decided to make such a big deal with Janelle. Why did she? Because there's other problematic teen moms. Why is she going after Janelle? Is it because she knows that she's going to get a rise out of her? Is that her? Is that why she did it? Like I think of things like that. And you can call them conspiracy theories, you can call them, whatever you want. But I try to think of every side of the road where it could be coming from. You're 75. Your names were Jennifer, Amber, or Kelly. I feel the same way with my name. Anybody who was born like around the late 80s, early 90s, I had a ton of Amandas in my class. I don't even like my name. Twitter is a cesspool of craziness. It's fun though. I'm not a huge fan of Twitter. I kind of just scroll through and I try to promote my stuff, but I'm not even good at promoting my videos and stuff like that. It's like every other one will I remember to promote myself on my other social medias. A spoof. Yeah, Della, I know. I just lurk on Twitter because it's so crazy. I used to hear stuff quickly, like the Hurricane Center and Jim. Yeah, I understand. Like Twitter can be a useful resource for sure. Yeah, exactly. Just chat. Whenever she got mad that Janelle clapped back, well, what is she expecting? I mean, isn't that like Janelle's whole persona? And even what was depicted on Teen Mom was that she'll come at you if you come at her. Like that's kind of how I thought she was. I might be wrong in that since I don't watch that TV show and I never watched her season of it, and I know there were multiple. I never kept up with her. So I don't know what her intentions were. I kind of get the feeling that the way I interpret Katie's content is she is desperately trying to get recognized by a larger creator. And in doing so, like she's covering stuff that will get her recognized, if that makes sense. Which there's nothing inherently wrong with that. It's just the stuff she tries to do to get to that point, to get recognition, isn't always the best. Sheila, if a creator deletes things, do they give up getting paid for them? I don't know. I'm monetized. I'm not going to say I'm not. I am monetized, but you have to reach a threshold of income before YouTube starts paying you. So I'm nowhere near that threshold. I'm not trying to be near that threshold. I could care less. So I don't know the rules about if you delete something, if you no longer are paid for it. I mean, they're not going to take money back if it's an old video, not that I know of. Like if you had a video up for a few months and you've gotten paid for it previously, it's not like YouTube says, hey, give me the money back from the video that you were paid for before. I'm sure you can't continue to get money because it's not getting any more engagement. And that's just me assuming. I don't know. I'm just trying to think about how YouTube works and stuff. Thanks, Stella. Jen, I find myself kind of falling for doing that too, not really understand. Not that I'm like saying I'm old or anything like that, but it's like a disconnect at times. Like I don't realize I'm 30 years old. I feel like when I'm talking about things, like sometimes it's like I'm a lot younger or a lot older than I am. It goes both ways for me. It's weird. Hey, Mandy, how are you? So in other videos I have done, just getting off topic for a reason, is you guys, I have talked about my lashes and my struggle with my lashes. You guys told me to use my eyelash curler, so I have been trying to do that, and it does make a little bit of a difference. I just really don't like those things. Sorry, I will return back to the chat as soon as I get my mascara on. I've got a mirror over to the side, so. Sorry for the awkward silence, if silence is awkward for you. All right. Why do some creators delete what they deem as a negative comment? Because it's their channel and they can, I'm assuming. I mean, I've deleted comments, so it really depends on what that creator wants to be published on their videos, on if they're going to allow a comment that they think is hurtful or mean or whatever they decide. That's kind of a benefit of having your own channel, is you get to not allow people to be rude if you don't want to. Virtual learning can be a lot of fun. I use the Remind app so students can get in touch with me. Helps foster a bond between us. That's really good news to hear that teachers have been utilizing apps and things of that nature to try and provide the students the same connection that they would have gotten if it was in class. I think that's awesome. And I'm not going to say I knew that schools were doing that who are virtually learning. That's news to me. So, I mean, I really appreciate that you've kind of given how it's been for you, Jazzy. You pinch your eyelid every time you use one. I don't usually pinch my eyelid. They're uncomfortable. I have pinched myself before. I think almost every person who's tried to use an eyelash curler has. Yeah, Jen, I do have the makeup eraser from Ulta, and let me say, it's not as great as I thought it would be. Like I've seen other creators who, when it was like the new fresh thing for it to be promoted, and I bought one recently because I wanted to stop using makeup wipes, and I had gone through a whole jar of like the cleansing balm that I had. I went through a whole jar of that and I had nothing but micellar water, which does a pretty good job, but I was thinking I could use the makeup remover cloth with the micellar water, and it would be just as convenient and effective as a makeup remover wipe, and it wasn't. Do I use it? Yeah, but is it as great as I thought it was going to be? Not really. The BH Stellar Lash, I know, Britt, I haven't purchased any new makeup lately, so I will, as soon as I go either BH, is that one I'm going to have to order online, or does Ulta carry that in the store? Yeah, makeup remover cloths are a waste. What I use now, I'll tell you what I use now. I'm trying to catch up in the chat. Yeah, remover cloths are bad. That's why I bought the makeup eraser. Mandy, that's how I learned how to do what I can do with makeup, is from watching YouTube. Old washcloths. Yeah, you can use old washcloths. You can buy, it's just a microfiber towel, pretty much. Like you can buy, feel the texture, look at the texture, and you can find a dupe. It's okay, Sheila. I don't mind you asking questions. Some Ulta stores sell it. Okay, there's an Ulta near me. I might have to see if they have it in stock. Otherwise, I'll just order it online. So what I use for my makeup removing now, my makeup removing system now is, it really depends on how heavy my makeup is, but I typically will go in with a balm, and I use the one that I believe Robert Welsh, maybe James, I can't remember which one, because makeup remover kind of falls into both categories. One, I think it was Robert though, recommended the It's Zero. It's in a, I can't remember the brand name. Maybe the brand name is It's Zero, or Zero. Zero is in the title. Let me just say that. I used that one, and I just take a little bit. You use it on your dry face. It gets almost everything off. And then I do use the makeup eraser or a washcloth and wipe off the makeup remover balm, and gently like rub around my eyelashes to get all my mascara off. And after that, I do another cleanse, like an actual cleanser, and then my face is clean, and then I follow up with all my skincare. And I've used, what's another balm? I've used a couple of different balms. I like the It's Zero one. It doesn't, most balms, if you've never used them, are waxy. They feel really waxy, and the It's Zero one isn't as thick and hard feeling. I have another one that I have that I've been working through is the Green Clean. I think that, or the pharmacy one that is part of the Clean label in Sephora, and it's a whole lot heavier and thicker than the It's Zero one. You like watching people put on makeup. It's calming. You really like that people, oh, Jazzy, I know Britt and I both really appreciate that. We both are trying to foster a good, healthy community that's friendly and supportive. So I appreciate that you acknowledge that. You don't have an Ulta near me, so you have to plan. I'm sorry, Jen. In Florida, where I was living, there was an Ulta in a few towns over and a Sephora. The Ulta there wasn't that great. The Sephora was awesome. I have moved, and since I have moved, the only Sephora where I'm at right now is in the side of JCPenney's, which is the one that is near me is really small. They don't have hardly any product, but the Ulta near me is fantastic. It's funny how it's flip-flop, but I am close to a large city that has both that are phenomenal. So if I want to really do like a makeup shopping trip, I can just plan the day and go to that larger town. Thank you, Della. We think you rock. You know that. You live outside of, I didn't, outside of New Orleans. Your Wi-Fi and shopping choices suck. So do you guys, Jazzy, do you guys have 4 dogs total then? I'm surprised. Okay, you live outside of New Orleans, so you might be in a more rural area. Because New Orleans is pretty big. I would imagine they have, I've gone through New Orleans a couple of times before. Never really stayed. Jay, you use the same straw. Yeah, I have a couple of different ones that I use. We got into that conversation in one of Britt's lives about reusable straws. Some of the horror stories you guys were telling me you knew about, though, has really made me think about it. You've never tried. It's not bad. The makeup eraser isn't bad, but if you're buying it expecting it to be like when you get it wet and wipe it on your face, it's going to take your makeup off. That's not the case. You have to use, in what my experience is, you have to use another cleaning agent. You have to, and that might be on the instructions. I don't know. But I was under the impression from how other gurus were talking about it when it first was coming out, was that you just wet it and then you could wipe your makeup off. And that wasn't how my experience with it has been. I've either needed to use a micellar water, and I have used just the makeup eraser with a micellar water. It does okay. It doesn't get a lot. It gets a lot of my makeup off, but not all of it, especially when I like to have very glittery eyelids, as you guys can tell, and I'm sure are aware. Typically what I use are the Urban Decay heavy metal eyeliners. I will use these, and you guys saw me do it, and I might not have talked about it. I will use these and make my eyelids glittery, but the makeup eraser will just smush that around if I just use a micellar water. Sorry, lost track of time. Hey, y'all. Mandy, you use a big silicone straw. So I have a couple of those. I don't like the texture of them. I don't know what it is. It maybe is something I should just get over. Yeah, Jay, they were just talking about how they've heard of people getting punctured by their straw, like during car accidents and stuff like that, which I can definitely see. I typically only use those straws whenever I am at home. I don't really drink coffee out of a mug. When I go to work, I put it in a thermos, or is it called, a thermos? Hey, Amber, but I wanted, what was it called? What are those called? Why am I struggling to think of what it's called? It's not, I know maybe they are called thermoses, like the big, like the Yeti cups, those things. That's all I don't know. For some reason, that word's just not come into my mind. Bye, Mandy. So is the product from Boots, the line number 7, I believe, is in Target. What is the product though? Is it just a cleanser? Is it a micellar water? Is it a balm? I still have to go look at the straws that Jen recommended. It's not, I don't use straws very often, and that's really why it's not something I'm super jumping the gun for. I use them in my lives because I don't want to slurp my cup. That's really why. I have them primarily for that. Of course, I bought them before I was even on YouTube, but that's when people were really talking about how plastic straws are bad, and I understand that they're bad for our environment. So I got those, but I don't typically drink out of a straw generally. You always have to have a straw. There's a lot of people who are like that, and I understand that. I guess I get it. I just primarily drink out of a can, or I put it in a water bottle or a thermos, whatever word it is for that. So I don't usually like ones with a screw on, or for my coffee, you know, they have the slide overs. I don't usually drink anything that I guess maybe soda, but we buy canned soda. If we have soda, we drink a lot of ginger ale. So I just drink it from the can though. That is a good point, Britt. I've never even thought of that. That it's dirty. You can't think of another word for thermos. Yeah, I don't know what is that word? They're definitely called something else too. Because when I think of thermos, I think of like the old school kind that my dad has. It's the really big one where it has the screw-on lid and then another screw-on lid, and you pour it into a cup. That's not what word I was trying to think of. You don't drink or eat when you drive, Jay. I mean, at least you're probably a safe driver, right? Tumblers, kind of. Maybe they are called tumblers. Hey, Dark Lily. When I think of the tumbler, I think that's probably the right term, though. I always envision the ones that are like a cup, a to-go cup. They're plastic, and then they have the straw. Those are the ones that I think of when I hear tumbler, but I think you're right. I think that's the term I was looking for. You're going to make me paranoid about drinking from a can now, Britt. You like drinking out of the straw because it'll get... You know, if I try and talk and eat, I'm like a 3-year-old. I will make a huge mess. But I don't have an issue with drinking typically, but I understand that. Yeah, the camping ones, that's what I was thinking. That's what my dad used to go to work every day. And whenever we'd go on long road trips. You can't, man, I'm going to stop drinking from a can after this. I'm just going to start pouring it into a glass. You have very good points, Britt, and I don't know why I've never even thought of that. Plus, with COVID, I mean, it would probably make, not that I'm like being a conspiracy theorist, but it would probably be safer for that to not drink out of a can. Travel mugs. Yeah, they've been called that too. I don't know if that's necessarily the word as soon as I get off of here, I'm going to remember what I was referring to and be like, darn it. That's okay. It's really not that big of a deal. It could have been any of these words, to be honest. Yeah, you guys have some very good points on why you don't drink from a can. I don't know why I've never even thought of that. You can't drink straight from the can either. Oh, 60 Minutes did a story on it years ago. I'm not going to watch that now. You guys have freaked me out enough. I don't need to watch. to watch something else to freak me out even more. I mean, you guys have seen me drink from a can in my lives before. That's just how I've always kind of drank my drink. I'm not going to moving forward, probably. Can't hold me to that because I might. Oh, I didn't bring my highlighting brush with me today. Hopefully this isn't too big. Thank you, Jazzy J. I appreciate that. I'm pretty sure COVID-19, I don't know if you're being a troll or if you're being serious, so I'm not trying to ignore you. I appreciate that, Jay. And yes, you're being serious. Oh, well, I appreciate it. I will be on Wednesday doing the open discussion with you guys about the topic we were going to cover this past week. I will be doing that. So if you're not sure what the topic is, it is trigger warning before I say the word. It's about serious self-harm and stuff like that. So if you are interested or want to engage in a conversation like that, this has been planned for a few weeks and I just got sidetracked. So I am going to follow through because several of you guys wanted that. And I think I have a topic for the following week, but we will, you know, I always ask you guys for your input at the end of the topic. I always ask you guys if you have something to suggest. So if I don't get any suggestions, I will just do the one that I'm thinking about, and I'll talk to you guys about that at that time. You drink pop. You want it to be from a fountain. It's funny that you I refer to it as soda or Coke. Sorry, I keep trying to read you guys and I can't even finish my train of thought. I call it soda or Coke, but I know of people who have called it pop. I more prefer it out of a bottle or a can, depending on not cans. I'm not drinking straight from a can anymore, probably, but like Coca-Cola, I think is better out of a can. Dr. Pepper, I think, is better out of a bottle. I don't know why, but I don't really like fountain drinks, to be honest. And a lot of that could be because previously I have worked in a restaurant. Not that they do anything weird with it, but I know the carbonation and stuff. And just when you go through different like different drive-throughs or you get drinks at different places, it'll taste different. It's all about the carbonation and the syrup ratio going through the machine. So I'm not a huge fan of fountain drinks, actually. McDonald's Coke is the gold standard. I actually don't mind McDonald's fountain Coke. You're a fountain girl? That's weird. Isn't that weird? That's just such a little weird thing that people wouldn't think about. Self-harm could be anything, not just cutting, using drugs to self-harm. Yeah, I have had 2 open discussions about substance abuse and addiction. So I don't think this next one's going to be about that. That's a topic that will probably reoccur in that discussion just because it touches more people than people are willing to talk about, and that's fine. I don't expect anybody to talk. I don't expect anybody to open up if you don't want to. It has been a good outlet for some. So I am going to continue doing those. Flask is another word for thermos. You're right, Pat, it is. In the UK, you just drink both can and bottle. I think the options are almost everywhere now. You're not being ignored. I was finishing my sentence before I read the chat. We could have a discussion on LGBTQ+. That is a weekly thing, so it would probably be in a couple of weeks, but I would be open to, it's okay. I didn't mean that in a nasty way, COVID. I was just responding to you. I see you. If I get into a thought, if I continue to read the chat like you saw when I was doing my eyebrows, I can't finish a thought and read your comments at the same time. I will end up reading your comment rather than finishing my thought. So I always try to finish my thought, then refer to the chat. But that is something that I would be very open to talk about. Hey, Mannequin, how are you? It's okay. I understand COVID-19. It's not a big deal. Your name says you're a vlogger. Do you post your stuff anywhere? I was afraid. No, Jen. I mean, it's a personal preference. Just like, I think Coke from a can tastes better than it does from a bottle. I know there's people who feel the opposite way. It's just a personal preference thing. Yeah, Dark Lily. Is that a seasonal thing? I thought they always kind of had $1 drinks. You're going to start doing that soon? Okay. You guys are out of lockdown, so you're going to start posting lockdown videos? You're out of lockdown, so you're posting them now, or you're still in them, so I'm sorry, I'm confused a little bit. You don't do fast food that often? I wish I didn't do fast food as often as I do. It's actually something my husband and I have agreed to work on. We're going to try to start meal prepping. That should actually be starting today. So try and make ourselves eat a little bit healthier so we can get in better shape. All right. So I think I'm just going to hang out here for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to probably get off for today. Yeah, Adela, I think everywhere is kind of picking back up, to be honest, like larger areas. Yeah, Jen, I've kind of been coming in contact with more and more people who have issues with gluten. I think honestly, probably everybody has an issue with gluten. It's just affecting some more than others. I've just gained too much weight. And since I've moved, I'm not trying to talk poorly about my appearance or anything. Since the move, I have gained more weight than I would have liked to have. So we have agreed that we're going to try and better ourselves, not to mention my husband has a PT test coming up. So he wants to make sure that he's good to go on that. You got your flu shot? I don't get a flu shot. I only got the flu shot one time. What year was that? That was in like 2013, and it was the only year I ever got the flu. I've never had the flu before that or after that, and I never had the flu shot in any other year. The one year I had the flu shot, I got the flu. So I have decided I'm not getting the flu shot. because I'm afraid that's going to happen again. But that's, I mean, it's crazy. So guys, I just want to briefly talk about what you can expect from me this week. It's probably going to be lighter than it has been on the videos. I do have a couple that I am going to be working on probably today and maybe tomorrow, depending. But I'm going to be doing my nails today, so I am going to have another nail video. I am hoping it's probably going to be choppier because I'm going to try and not film it the way I filmed my last one, so it's probably going to be a lot shorter. I'm also going to be filming a get ready with me where I just talk about my products, and I'm also probably going to be filming a makeup collection video. Those are 3 videos I have planned. I have a couple ideas for some commentary videos here and there. I'm kind of probably, you know, what I kind of had started doing with my content was talking about commentary in my lives, and I'm probably just going to start doing that unless it's something that I feel needs a video or there's enough information for me to talk about for its own video. Otherwise, my content might shift slightly since I'll be talking more about my commentary stuff on lives like we have been, and I'll still be going live pretty regularly. I don't know the solid schedule. I had one worked out, and then with everything else going on that I don't want to talk about in my personal life, I've realized it's kind of impossible for me to juggle everything I've been juggling. So I am going to cut back a little bit on my lives. My Wednesdays are still going to be open discussion Wednesdays. As far as like these other random lives, they're just going to be random. I'm not going to post about them on my community tab or anything like that. I may give you guys, like I was before, the voting option if there's something that I might want to talk about and I just want to see if you guys are interested in it before I hop on a live. I'll do that. So you guys can always keep an eye out on the community tab for that stuff. Otherwise, I do want to say thank you to everybody who has worried about me or checked on me. I have been fine. I'm going to continue to be fine. And we are just going to continue, keep on keeping on like we have been. Otherwise, if no one else has any other questions, I'm probably going to say goodbye for today. You got sick with it too after? Yeah, it happens to a lot of people. Yeah, I am going to do a nail video. They're not going to be blue this time, I promise. Oh, is that what was going on, Jen? Jen said make sure your YouTube app is up to date. She stopped getting notifications because hers wasn't. So for people who have commented or DM'd me kind of saying that you didn't know why you didn't get a notification, maybe that's why. I always leave everything up afterwards, so you can always rewatch if you're interested. So since there aren't any other topics being talked about, I am going to go ahead and hop off of here for today. I appreciate everybody who's been here and everybody who contributed to the conversation today. It's been a nice refresher from all of the stressful work stuff and personal stuff going on lately. It's been nice to come to my safe place and talk to you guys and just do my makeup for the day. I'm not sure when I'll go live again. It will be this week for sure on Wednesday. And I don't know if I'll go live before that, but I will have a video drop, at least one on Monday or Tuesday, and I'm not sure which one it'll be yet. So keep an eye out on that. Otherwise, I hope you guys all have a good day, evening, or night, wherever you are, and I will see you next time. Bye.